Good morning, my crafty friends. It's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. I'd like to share with you the project that's in the making of the use of my skins that I've been showing you in the previous videos. And thank you again for all your encouragement and your lovely comments in regard to that. Now, the project that I've made is started with one of these fancy paper bags that were gifted to me quite a while ago, probably about 2 years now. And I only have two, the small one and the large one. The large one I've turned into a little folder, okay? And of course, now I've also experimented with my skins to see if I can make a cover for a grunge journal, and that's my project. I'm just absolutely loving this look, which is a little bit different from my shabby chic or eclectic now into grunge. I have sort of tried a little bit, when I started with journaling, but the penny just didn't drop, I suppose. But now I'm really enjoying it. So I've been making some more skins for myself. I've been coffee dyeing some paper. I've got to make some more because I really need some really heavy coffee dyed paper. And I've made some little projects to go into this grunge journal. So I'm going to show you what I've made. So here I've made my cover. And this cover is actually 5 layers of the pattern paper. And the last layer, I've actually covered it with a coffee dyed, very sheer lace. If you can just see that. And what I've done is I've just lightly, just very lightly inked that little lace pattern that you can see, because it was getting really lost. And I thought, well, I really like to make it show up. So as you can see, it's just a little, you can see through the lines here that how the pattern goes. But yeah, so, and it worked. My experiment worked, and it's already to size, so it's going to be probably quite a large journal. When I say large, probably no larger than some of the grunge journals I've seen. Nearly 9 inches, which equates to about 23 centimeters, 15 wide, about 6 inches wide. And it's going to have turned up corners on the front, okay? So that's why this one's turned up, because that's the look I like. Now I've made a topper for this already, because I get a bit carried away. And this is my topper for the journal. So lots of scraps. And you know me, I love using scraps. Packaging, okay? Magazine paper. So let's start with the picture. I've done one of the pictures that I had, and I've chalked it into a very, very sort of dark blue. It's a little ink pack that I've got, very cheap, and it's dry, and I've watched everyone spray some water or alcohol on it, so I did that, and I was able to rejuvenate the ink, which is great. Did my stitching around, did my usual, put it on my skin, 3 layers, picture, and then another layer. And underneath I've used some corrugated cardboard. This is the leftover of the bag that I cut up, the larger bag, to make a folder. A butterfly. Now this butterfly is actually cloth. It's fabric. I was able to buy a piece of fabric, and I fussy cut it out, all the butterflies, as you can see here, right from the really tiny ones to the larger ones. It's probably about the largest size that's in there, and they are just fantastic. And I thought, well, they need a bit of backing, and I didn't want to use cardboard. It would have been a bit, or cardstock. It would have been, I think, too hard for me. So what I did was, because I have so many skins left, which I use as well in this journal, so I backed it onto my skin. I did experiment and cover one with the skin. Not a good idea. So it has 3 layers of skin of the tissue paper, and then I actually just darkened the edges because it's white, and just applied this with PVA glue and covered it with PVA glue. But don't you just love it? Okay, and I'm going to have that so it stands up a little bit, because I see everyone use those Tim Holtz butterflies, and you know me, I don't buy any Tim Holtz unless it gets gifted to me or I accidentally find it in an op shop, which I doubt very much. And then I used a bit of scrap fabric, which comes from this. On the back, oh yeah, this is a photo, so I've stitched right around the photo, and look at these pretty buttons. They're like a mother of pearl, but they have a blue in it. And I thought, well, you know, it matches this little bit of colour that's on here. This is of a handkerchief, both are. The flower was up here, which didn't suit me, so I fussy cut the flower out and just cut the corner of the handkerchief out and just glued the flower on. And look at this little rabbit. And that looked cool. It's actually a necklace. I think it's still got the little loop on there, but because I'm not using it as a lap necklace, and it sort of gives it a little bit dimension. And this strip of here is actually part of the hanky, because I just, you know, tore a strip off it because I wanted that fringy, grungy sort of worn out look, and I did a bit of zigzagging stitch. Here's one of my wax papers, and this is a paper towel that my friend gave me that she painted, and it looks really, really great. And this is going to be going onto the cover. I'm not sure what sort of what I'm going to name this journal yet. It's, you know, I'm sort of maybe just a grunge journal, but yes, or the early days or something like that. So that's going to go onto there. And of course my cover on the inside looks fantastic, and I'm not going to put anything over this. I just love it. I'll probably put a couple of little pockets on there, or just a bit of lace across here so that you can use them as pockets. So to go with that, I started making bits and pieces, and the paper bag that I showed you that I altered, here it is here. And again, I've used a skin of a little girl. This one is more faded, but I don't mind it. I found out that if you have a lot of dark background, it does go like this. So the more white background, the better the skin takes. That's in my opinion anyway. Again, corrugated cardboard, some lace, coffee dyed lace, some more of the paper towel just there, a little bit of tulle. I had about 2 meters of this, and I've had it for about 2 years. That's all I've got left, and it's been floating around, and I'm thinking I'm finally going to use you. A little metal filigree with a little bit of bling, excuse me, and then some other little coffee dyed paper, come out really dark, corrugated cardboard here as well. Here's a snippet of a really dark coloured coffee coloured doily, and this was a little white, very stark white applique, and I've just coffee dyed the whole lot, and it had a little bit of colour in it, so I just highlighted that with my chalk. Okay, just rubbed it on, it just stays on there. And of course, by having that bit of colour, I thought, well, this was all black and white, so I've put a little bit of chalk where the flowers and the hair, flowers in the basket, just so that it sort of complements each other. And here's a little fabric label. This actually is like a little ticket. This too, when I bought the fabric with the butterflies, I've got a fabric piece that has all these various vintage old labels on it, so I fussy cut that out and put that on there as well. Stitched around the bag, and here is my little pocket, which will be going into the journal as well. And this piece here is what I've cut out, and that's that little piece that's here on the front. Okay, now I've just popped some tags in. I'm not sure whether they'll stay in there or not, but I just like the butterfly, seeing I've got the butterfly on the front. and darkened it with some ink. And the same with this one. Little bit of fancy little trim there. I am who I am. Actually, that might be a good name for the journal. And a couple of butterflies. These are decoupaged on to some book paper. This cool card is from Bonny And Clive. That she sent me my little order the other day, and she put a couple of free gifts in it. So you've got brown paper, tissue paper, curtain, book page, and she printed she stamped this butterfly on a bit of organza ribbon, and they just sewed on it and left all the threads, which was fantastic for me. Little card here. I do believe it was a very thin piece of paper, and I actually glued it onto this card, onto cardstock. I've had these for a while, and then I just popped on some those little diamonds from Diamond, what do you call that? That diamond art that you can do now with those little to make pictures. Well, I got a whole heap of them, and I've popped them on there. And the same with this one. Here had a couple of tags that have been floating around. I've just inked them, made them a bit darker. And then I had some really cool old paper. I'll just see if I can get closer. And it was like cardboard, but it was really thick paper, and I waxed it when I went through and did a lot of waxing of my papers, and it came out really good. You can see the texture really nicely. So I stitched them on first before I stitched up the actual little folder. A little bit of trim, which was of course on the letter, altered envelope I should say, that Bonnie had the goodies in, and I took that off because it just lent itself onto here. And then one of Bonnie's little scrappy fabric stamps, just love them, and then the word believe. So of course this now, you probably all know this, how this works. It's just folded up, and that's it. And what I did was actually put a little pocket on the bottom, and then I cut this out, okay? And by cutting that out, I just folded that in half and cut that to whatever size I wanted. So that's all that is. See? So this is going to go into that's going to be part of going into the journal. And then of course, well, I better make an envelope as well. So I made one envelope, but it's made from some very old music paper that I have that you can't even use unless you cover it with PVA glue. So I've used my 3 layers of pattern paper, popped my music paper on top, and then covered it and sealed it with another piece of pattern paper that you can see right there, okay? Inside, I used a clear without any writing on the pattern paper so that you can actually journal on it. And these lines are made from a piece of chalk. Charcoal. I've got a charcoal pencil here, okay? Just pop you, probably what missed out on all that. Charcoal pencil, and then just rubbed it to get those lines. And I've popped in a little girl here that you just flip out. Stitched around it, bit of uneven stitching. And that's what it looks like. You can see the pattern. I mean, that's the whole idea, isn't it? And then I used one of my coffee ruffles. And what I've done here is I scrunched them up as I sewed them. And then once I've got about a 3-metre strip I made. I got a bit carried away. They're all coffee dyed papers that were torn and just weren't very good to use. So I just cut them in strips and just scrunched it up as I was sewing, and then scrunched it up more, and then I sort of slowly undid it, and haven't got one here with me to show you, and just sewed that on top. Little scrappy piece of paper. This little bow was gifted to me a long time ago by a lady that makes cards, and it was white. Well, that's not going to happen, so I just inked that up with a bit of pink and blue. Left a little opening to pop in a little ticket, just so that you've got your bit of pink, a little bit of pink, and used another one of Bonnie's fabric scrappy fabrics stamps. And Bonnie, if you're watching this, I might have to order some more because I've been using them now. So yeah, and of course I already made a paper clip, some book pages. I used my wax paper. I used some of the paper towel, and I did some ruffled music paper, and I used one of my little shopping tags that I mentioned to you in my last video, I think. And I'm just going to alter these because I don't do markets. They're little price tags because I don't have a die cut that makes little tags, so I'm using my little price tags, and just used a bit of wax twine. I might put a little embellishment, little bling or something on there, I'm not sure, down here. So that's that. And then what I'm going to do is, because I've got all these strips left over, because when I made those envelopes and the pictures, I made big pieces because I'm going to tear these and make tabs for the journal on the side, okay? So that's what all these are for. So yeah, so I thought I'd share this little project with you guys. Let me know of your thoughts. I absolutely love it. Maybe I'm just going through a different phase. Maybe I'm going through a hormonal thing or something. But anyway, I thought I'd share you what I've done with it. And oh, and here's some of the papers that I'm using as well. Don't you just love all these really heavy COVID dyed papers? So I've got to make some more, probably make some today. This one is actually torn, but I can fix that. So yeah, so I've only got half a dozen of those, I think, and it's not going to be enough. So that's my little project. So I hope you enjoyed what I'm making, and hopefully it might give you some ideas of what you can use. And you know, there's nothing bought in here. I think the only bought thing is the glue. So yes, so thank you very much for watching, and have a great day of crafting wherever you are, and also most importantly, stay safe. Bye for now.